Good evening. The time is 7:08 p.m. and I would like to call to order the July 13th, 2022 meeting of the Southampton County School Board. We have 8 of our 9 members present, so we do have a quorum. One of our members, Ms. Donna Roundtree, has asked to join the meeting by phone tonight, but we do need a board motion and a second in order to allow Ms. Roundtree to join us by phone. We have a motion by Ms. Bradley, a second by Mr. Worsham, to allow Ms. Roundtree to join us by phone. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So Ms. Artis will get Ms. Roundtree on the phone. Okay. The agenda was in your board document, and I would like to add an item to the agenda under closed session. That's personnel compensation matter. Personnel/compensation. That I would like to discuss in closed session. Is there another board member who would like to add an item to the agenda? Mr. Worsham? Personnel. Okay, so Mr. In closed session? Yes, ma'am. So Mr. Worsham wants to speak in closed session. Is there another board member who would like to add an item to the agenda? Mr. Pope wants to speak in closed session. Okay, so Mr. Pope. Is there another board member who would like to add an item to the agenda? So could we have a motion then to amend the agenda as indicated? We have a motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Ms. Bunn, to approve the agenda as amended. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? You had in your board packets the minutes from our May 9th, 2022 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? So could we have a motion to approve? We have a motion by Ms. Reynolds, a second by Mr. Smith, to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. So now we're down to one of our favorite portions of the school board meeting, and that is the Superintendent's Students of the Month. So Dr. Shannon?
Good evening. Tonight it gives me great pleasure to have our building principals recognize our Students of the Month. These students have displayed excellence and kindness within our schools and community. I'm extremely proud of our students, and I am sure that they will continue to be champions of kindness and excellence even during the summer months. At this time, our principals will come forward and recognize our students. Dr. Francis.
Our first one is not here. She's at homesick with earache and fever. But it's Allison Holland. She is a pre-K student, and she is just amazing. She goes to dance on Wednesdays, and she's a t-ball player, and she's being recognized for her citizenship every day this school year. Her mom comes in with Allie, and her mom's a kindergarten teacher, and she walks in with the biggest smile on her face. I've never seen anything else from her. She's a tomboy because she's got 2 older brothers, and so when I come to think of her, she's just an amazing kid. So she's been a really leader in the pre-K classroom. My second student is Jordan Evans. Jordan is my sidekick. I picked teachers' kids this month, and Jordan is in 1st grade, and he can spell better than I can. He's gotten so he's spelling his words to make his sentence, and I'm looking at him going like this because I'm not a speller. He is on the coach pitch team with Down the Middle. He loves playing with his brother Carter. Jordan is a dancer, and this boy has got some moves. He loves to watch dancing videos and listen to music. And when he grows up, he wants to either be a doctor or a firefighter. He's being recognized for his citizenship. And Connie Johnson has trained this child so well that when he went to the restaurant, I believe it was Applebee's. What was it? It was a restaurant. He was doing the Cape and Crab stroll in the restaurant. So Connie Johnson has done her job well with him. So Jordan, congratulations to you, buddy.
Good evening. I'm Susan Fowler, Principal at Meharon, and I am proud to present to you tonight Alexa Fowler. So Alexa, come on up. Alexa doesn't know that she was chosen or why she was chosen because I like to keep it a surprise. I'm going to try to stick to my script because we got a full house tonight. She's a third grader at Meharon. She is one of the kindest young ladies you will ever meet. If she's nervous or anxious, if she's sad or mad, you will never know it because when she comes in the building, she always has a smile on her face and her manners are impeccable. She's a trustworthy, dependable student and a super friend to all. And I would just like to say, I'm really excited, Alexa, to see your leadership skills blossom next year as she moves from 3rd grade to 4th grade. She's moving from the green hall to the red hall. And you all just don't know how she's just done phenomenally. And you're going to do a great job next year. I can't wait to see what you have in store. So great job, Alexa.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Susan Melvin. I am the proud principal at Nottoway Elementary. And so for my first student of the month, I'd like to call up Miss Caroline Johnson. Come on up, Caroline. I kind of went with the same theme, so we've had everybody look at the outfit. She always shows us her outfit daily. So you have to look at the outfit. It looks adorable. Miss Caroline is one of my kindergarten students. Dr. Francis and I had the same idea. Miss Caroline was selected because she is an outstanding student. She takes her time on every single assignment and she puts pride into everything that she does. Not only is she one of my top kindergarten students, she is also the proud daughter of Miss Johnson as well. So everybody, please give Miss Caroline Johnson a big round of applause. All right, for my second one, still staying with kindergarten, Atlas, will you come on up for me? Now, for Atlas, he was nominated, and I'm going to read it verbatim from Miss Johnson, okay? Does that sound like a plan? Do you love Miss Johnson? Yes. Okay, I chose Atlas Topping for the Superintendent's Award. After personal hardship, Atlas persevered and determination and hard work accomplished a tremendous amount of academic growth this year. Along with his academic success, he is a kind friend, displays his manners, is respectful, participates in, and pays attention to every single lesson. His family support and his amazing behavior has allowed him to excel academically and make astounding progress. At Nottoway, we are extremely proud of everything that you've accomplished this year, and that is why you're getting the Superintendent Student of the Month.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Miss Rayleigh, and this is Miss Walford. We're the co-principals of Riverdale Elementary School, and it is our honor tonight to represent and present to you Miss Shelby Turner. Shelby, if you could come forward, please. Let's give her a hand. Shelby's being recognized tonight as our Superintendent Student of the Month. She's a 5th grader at Riverdale Elementary School, and listen to this, y'all. She passed all of her SOLs this year. She was past advance on one, and in science, a perfect 600. Great job, Shelby. She is a role model student. She's always a friend to everyone. She's willing to help her peers. She's willing to help her teachers. She's willing to help Miss Watford and I. So she's our right-hand girl. And when she is not at school, she is spending her time pitching her heart out for Sedley, and she has done a great job this year with her extracurricular activities as well as her academics, so we wanted to recognize her tonight. So congratulations, Shelby.
Good evening. Southampton Middle School has 2 of our best this evening. First of all, Miss Layla Lopez. Come on up. Layla is the 6th grader at Southampton Middle School. Layla loves spending time with her family, playing outside and feeding her cat. Layla loves interacting with her friends at school and her classes throughout the day. Layla also enjoys calendar time. Exactly. And activities she does in class. Mrs. Lopez, her mom, shared that Layla has an interest in music of all kinds. Congratulations, Miss Layla Lopez. Good job, Layla, good job. Next, we have Mr. Milton Healey. Milton is a 7th grader at Southampton Middle School. He is the oldest of 4 brothers. Milton enjoys playing Super Mario Brothers, traveling, and going to Chuck E. Cheese. Milton has a very bubbly personality and enjoys meeting new people. His favorite colors are red and blue. Milton views himself as a forgiving person. Milton would like to be a doctor when he grows up.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Blunt, and I am pleased to acknowledge 2 outstanding students from Southampton High School. One is Mr. Jalen Lashley. He is an honor graduate and the son of Mario and Jennifer Lashley. Jalen is a member of the National Beta Club and National Honor Society and the tennis team. For 2 years, he has volunteered as a junior firefighter for Hunterdale Fire Department while working part-time at the Village of Woods Edge. Jalen will attend Old Dominion University and matriculate in mechanical and aerospace engineering. One of Jalen's favorite quotes, daily mentioned by his father, is do the best and let God do the rest. Jalen's goal is to be all he can be in honor of his late father by working hard and being a role model for his brother as his father was for him. That's Mr. Jalen Lashley. He is not with us tonight, but please give him applause. Miss Carly Clark is our next student of the month. Carly, again, is one of our finest, and I would like to say that she is the daughter of Chris and April Clark. She's also an honor graduate and has attended Southampton High School for 2 years. During her tenure, she has become a member of the Beta Club and the National Honor Society. She is very thoughtful and compassionate about the feelings of others. She was instrumental in the class of 2022 and the faculty wearing memorial ribbons on Honors and Awards Day out of respect for the lives lost at Robin Elementary School in Texas. After graduation, Carly plans to attend Southside Community College, where she will study human services in preparation for becoming a child advocate. Congratulations, Carly. Thank you.
On behalf of the entire Southampton County School Board, I want to thank the students and the parents for all of their hard work. We enjoy recognizing and celebrating success here in Southampton County Public Schools. And indeed, a board priority is student achievement and student success. So thank you, parents, and thank you, students, for joining us tonight for this recognition. So now, if parents and students would like to leave at this time, you're free to do so, but of course, we're going to stay for the remainder of the meeting. Yeah, you're on the agenda. Okay. But if these students and their parents would like to leave at this time, they're welcome to do so. But you're certainly welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting. But you might want to take some pictures, and sometimes the principals want to take pictures as you leave. As they leave, we want to move on to recognizing the 2021 Virginia School Boards Association Regional Spring Art Forum participants. So Dr. Shannon?
Sure. We had 3 students to participate in the VSBA Regional Spring Art Forum. We had 1 elementary student, 1 middle school student, and 1 high school student. These students created beautiful masterpieces, and they represented Southampton County Public School Division extremely well. Tonight, Dr. Blunt will stand on our behalf and provide these students with a certificate. Dr. Blunt. She's being accompanied by Mrs. Melissa Edwards. Thank you, Ms. Edwards.
Okay, absolutely. We would actually like to call the high school student up first. Miss Katie McGee is a senior at Southampton High School, and she is ready to graduate, and her artwork has not only been recognized at this competition, but also won first place at the Rawls Art Exhibit with 8 high schools competing. So she received Best in Show as well. So please give her a round of applause. Yes, we also are featuring her artwork in the program at graduation because it has a really special message that goes with it, how they will all go through different paths, but their creativity and determination will keep them all together in spirit. And then we would like to recognize Carolyn Jennings as well for her VSBA Art Award. And the third VSBA Art Award is Jade Dawson. These students were all chosen by the art teachers at different levels, and their pieces kind of went up against other artwork in the county, and of course they represented our county really well. So thank you again.
Thank you. The next recognition is the nursing aide. Penny, Dr. Penny.
Sure. Tonight I'd like to recognize the students who have completed our Certified Nursing Assistance Program. We began this program approximately 3 years ago. I'm proud of the teachers and the students who ensured that the requirements were met in order for our students to sit for the CNA licensure exam. Our nursing instructors have a short presentation that they will make tonight recognizing our students. So Mrs. Amy Rose and Mrs. Donna Wilson.
Thank y'all. I just thought y'all had forgot us. All right. We do want to welcome everybody here tonight, and we are so excited about the nurse aid program. We have 13 wonderful girls that were in our program this year. That we started with 13. We are ended with 13. All 13 are eligible to be certified as nurse aid, so they could be a CNA. After tonight, when we give them their little penance ceremony. We have a small production type thing for the parents and family of the students in the wigwam after we present, and we have some of their pennant and their awards to give out there, so we would tag all of the school board. But I would like to call them all up so that they can be recognized in front of everyone. Mary Catherine Cobb. Chelsea Urquhart. Brianna Falcone. Erica Gardner. Hannah Gray. Kelsey Jarrett. Elizabeth Nerney. Denasia Smith. Grace Smith. Jaleesa Parker. Kiera Ford. Chastity Evans. Jordan Fox. Did I get everybody? Are all 13 of y'all up here? Not only are these young ladies certified, eligible to be certified as a nurse aide for completing at least 140 hours is the minimum. Our students have completed 200 hours in the classroom plus and in the skills lab, and they also went to 2 various long-term care facilities in the area to do their clinical hours, which had to be at least 40 hours, and we have done over 40 hours with them. There have been some struggles getting back and forth in one facility. We had to switch to the other, but we made it through. And they all are CPR certified as well. So if somebody's heart stops tonight, these girls can take care of it. We have 8 seniors. Step forward if you're a senior. But all 13 will be pinned tonight in a separate ceremony in the wigwam following this right here. And I couldn't have done it, Nurse Wilson and I have been working, trying to make sure that they get the core information that they need, making sure that the Board of Nursing guidelines were followed. So it was a very proud moment to know that all 13 girls are going to be made it through and can go and do their work and continue on in their medical field. Thank y'all so much. Family and friends of the nurse aid students, we're going to convene in the wigwam for a short presentation back there. So if y'all would like
So again, thank you. One priority of our board is student success. So we do recognize and celebrate the success of each and every student here in Southampton County Public Schools. So if these parents and students would like to leave at this time, they're certainly free to do so. The next item on the agenda is one that almost brings tears to my eyes. It's the recognition of Mr. William Worship. Mr. Worship has been a faithful school board member for the past 8 years. He has, we certainly appreciate his leadership, his insight, his calm demeanor, and we will certainly miss him from serving on the Southampton County School Board. So, Mr. Worship. So on behalf of the entire Southampton County School Board, we want to honor you by word and deed. Your presence has enriched the lives of students and served as an example for all. Thank you for 8 years of service to Southampton County Public Schools. So thank you so much for your service, and we are going to miss you. Thank you. Yes, so Mr. Worship, any comments?
A couple. A lot of people in here already know it, but I began a journey in education in 1973, July of 1973. This will be the 4th time I've retired. And I came back each time because I have a passion for it. When you see students do the things that our students did here tonight, previous meetings, with the success they made, and I have in my pocket a program from the honors graduate ceremony, award ceremony. And as I look through this program, just the sheer numbers of students who have achieved at the highest level. And sometimes, we fail to understand what school is all about. This is what school is all about, and what you saw here tonight is what school is all about. Believe me, I know. And I do appreciate it. You guys were supposed to do this. But anyway, I do appreciate the time I've been given to serve. I did it at the behest of my family and a couple of real close friends. I wasn't going to get into it, but I'm glad I did. Kind of closes out what I consider a worthwhile career. And I hope all of you will continue your support with the schools. You have one of the better running schools and school systems in the state, believe me. I'll tell you that, believe me. I've seen the figures in several places. I can remember a time when my school used to play Southampton in football, and I would tell you the scores, because we lost, and we lost big. But every time we came over here, we were treated professionally, and we were treated with a welcoming gesture every time. And I think it still goes on. So with that, I'm going to sit down because you folks shouldn't have done this. But anyway, I do appreciate what you've done, and I thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. move into the public comment period of our meeting. Although Virginia law does not require us to hold a public comment period, we choose to do so because we believe it is important for us to hear from our community members. The Southampton County School Board values public participation and recognizes the importance of receiving public input on issues affecting the education of children in our system. The public comment period is a time for citizens and residents to express their views in order to inform the Southampton County School Board. Therefore, please do not expect board members to respond to comments or to answer questions during the public comment period. We encourage public comments. However, we ask that you respectfully follow several guidelines. One, individuals wishing to speak should have signed up in the lobby before the meeting started. And two, the time limit for each individual speaker is 3 minutes, and that's 3 minutes per speaker, so you cannot yield your time to another speaker. We have a visible timer so that speakers will know how much time is available. We ask that speakers address their comments to the board, not to the superintendent or to other audience members. We also ask that audience members refrain from comments and demonstrations such as booing, hissing, and clapping. I will call the speakers up in the order in which they signed up. So the first speaker is Ed Johnston.
Good evening. My name is Edmund Johnston. I come to you with several questions and concerns. I made suggestions to the board via email on March 18th. One of them was to include the financial reports and payment of bills to board docs. As per usual, this email went unanswered by all of you before me today. Out of frustration, I submitted a FOIA request and was told it was going to cost over $200 for this information. Why? I asked, as this information should already be available. After some discussion with the superintendent's designee, we came up to an agreement that this information will be updated accordingly. For the most part, it has, but the bills presented to the board monthly have not. Why the lack of transparency? Is there something to hide? Further, it is presented to the board. Further, if it's presented to the board, it should be available to stakeholders and community either on the website or utilizing your school management software. Be that open book that you like to suggest you are, and stop making people pay for transparency. It's flat out wrong. Second, you formed a facilities committee to placate the community. Why are the same issues present today in the schools that were present months, if not years ago? Why is it continuously reported to this body that the issues are cosmetic or there's no issues at all? Leaking ceilings, inoperable HVAC, and broken windows are issues that continue to plague the buildings and for the most part are either not being addressed or taking months to resolve. We can do better for the children and the staff that enter these doors daily. Third, is the board aware of the crisis in the county? The middle school has at least 5 classroom positions that were not filled during 21-22 school year. I've also been told that there are a large number of veteran teachers leaving this year. If you are sitting here today and can't answer this question, why? Last June, my wife spoke in front of you and said the real learning loss would be the loss of the teachers in the county. Folks, it's happening. You've allowed the superintendent to not treat the teachers and staff like the professionals they are, and you continue to rely on the unpaid hours they perform. The children of the county have a right to a quality education with highly qualified teachers. It's your job to make sure this happens. You all had your chance to do what you knew was right by compensating a group of teachers, and you decided not to. For those that are up for reappointment, I ask you to think hard about your decision and make sure you're doing it for the right reason, and if not, step aside. Dr. Shannon, the state of the school system is a reflection of your leadership. I ask all you to reflect on what can be done to improve our schools and how to rebuild the broken relationships between the community you serve and the Board of Supervisors. My advice to you is always treat others the way you would want to be treated and take care of the people under your charge. Remember, pride comes before the fall. As always, we can do better. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mandy Hall.
Good evening. My name is Mandy Hall, 1903 Lakeside Drive, Portland, Virginia. I I would like to begin tonight by thanking Mr. Worsham for his years of service on the school board and to express my gratitude for his wisdom and correspondence. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the entire board for your service as well, particularly during such trying times in education. As a courtesy to Mr. Smith and his 36 years on the board, I would like you to know that I am pursuing the Jerusalem seat on the school board as a call to community service and supporting our education system. Next, I want to ask you all something. What questions are you asking to get ready for the next school year? Are you asking what happens if you can't hire enough teachers at the middle school or enough bus mechanics to keep the fleet going? Are you asking why the division didn't get the $40,000 in grant money for the supply chain issues that could have been used to supplement school meals and buy unprocessed foods to finish out the school year? All that was needed was a completed form emailed back to the state. Are you asking why the division didn't apply for the security equipment grant last year? Our division could have easily gotten up to $150,000 to help the physical security of the buildings. We didn't apply for it. Are you asking why our division is no longer receiving grants like the Camp Foundation and Southampton Franklin Charities? Surely you know that this has happened, and surely you know people on these boards that you could ask why. Are you asking why our teachers and bus drivers and guidance counselors and support staff are not getting raises above the required state raises? Other districts can do it, and without a tremendous increase in local funding. We need these questions and many, many more answered. These are big questions, and they need legitimate answers. The students, parents, stakeholders, and staff have every right to ask all of these questions, and it's your job to get the real answers. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. The next speaker is Kathy Jo Edwards.
Good evening, my name is Kathy Jo Edwards and I teach 10th grade English here at the high school. Lack of communication and transparency leads to frustration and ultimately job dissatisfaction. As you are aware, teachers are leaving in droves all across the country. Our profession is in crisis, which translates to our schools, our children, and our future being in crisis. Southampton is not immune to this crisis. In fact, it is fairly evident with the number of teachers leaving our district this year, we are in the midst of our own crisis. But unlike the nationwide crisis of teachers leaving the profession, our teachers are not leaving the profession itself, but are leaving this district for better pay, for better working conditions, and for a district where they are truly appreciated. So I am here to point out some of those changes needed to create a better working and learning environment for those of us in Southampton County who truly want to make a difference. These are not just my ideas. These are ideas from some of my colleagues at Southampton High School as well. Number one, visit our schools. In order to really see what is happening in our schools, we need you to show up. Not just a token visit, but visit our schools at least once or twice a month. Take the time to talk to students, teachers, and administrators. Walk the halls during change of class. Go into the classrooms. See what we are dealing with, good and bad. Number two, fix our facilities. I think you've already heard some about the HVAC and the plumbing. We are in desperate need of cleaning and fixing our plumbing. Number three, cleaning and sanitation this year has been minimal at best, even during high numbers of COVID in our school. My classroom floor has been so filthy at times that the students and I could slip and slide on the dirt and dust. I know we are in need of janitors, but why not hire a cleaning service to come in once in a while? The teacher's bathroom on Hall 3 needs a deep cleaning. Sewer flies are a regular problem. It is disgusting. Number four, security. Again, it appears as though the money is out there if we apply for it. We have the metal detectors and the wands, but what good do these do if the backpacks are not checked consistently? It is a waste of time and money if not used with serious intent. With the money that is available, we could hire security personnel to handle these things and not ask educators who are not trained in security measures to take on yet another responsibility. The high school should have at least one, if not two, full-time school resource officers. Cameras should also be in working order and watched in real time for suspicious or dangerous activity. Today's lockdown and and recent events in other schools illustrate why more security is needed. Last but not least, teacher salaries. We are at the low end of teacher salaries when compared to surrounding school systems, even with the 5% and retention bonus. Until the salaries for Southampton teachers are increased to make us competitive, we will continue to lose good teachers to other systems. Everyone knows this. What is being done to remedy this issue? In closing, teachers are frustrated, disheartened, and feel unheard by this school board and administration. We are told all the time that it is all about the students, and we need to do what is best for our students. Well, in order to provide the best for our students in Southampton County, you first need to take care of those who take care of those students, or there will be no one left to do so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So I'd like to thank all the individuals who addressed the board tonight. The next item on the agenda, matters from previous meetings. You know that the School Board Selection Commission will hold a public hearing on Monday, June the 20th, 2022 at 11 a.m. for 3 board members whose terms will expire June the 30th, 2022. 1 from the Boykins District, 1 from the Jerusalem District, and 1 from the at-large district. The selection will take place Monday, June the 27th, 2022 at 11 a.m. at the school board office complex. So we are now down to action items. So the first action item is the financial report and payment of bills. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Joy Carr, our Director of Finance, will make a presentation to the board. And while she's up there, if it pleases the board, she'll also make a presentation on the school operating budget.
Good evening. If I could bring your attention to the preliminary expenditure report for the month of May, you'll notice that our revised budget is at $34,133,565.06. And our actual expenditures through May 31st total $25,949,438.98. This leaves us a balance in the operating budget as of May 31st of $8,184,126.08. Please note that as of the date of this report, 76.02% has been expended from the operating budget. Now, the May bill list has been attached to the agenda tonight for the board's approval. Are there any questions? No questions?
No questions.
Okay.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
No, a motion by Mr. Pope. A second by Ms. Bradley that we pay the bills as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so I believe with the part about the budget. Okay, update on the budget. So at your desk tonight, you'll see a revised copy of the budget. And just some information I want to provide that the Board of Supervisors approved the county's recommended budget on Tuesday, May the 24th, which included local funding of $12,714,310 to fund an operation budget total for Southampton County Schools of $36,980,311. As we reported last month, a decrease of $1,548,548 was required to balance the budget. So the items that we made those cuts after meetings, and the items that were retained in budget include the 5% salary increase for all of our employees. The rest of the budget was mainly level funded. So therefore, the revised budget, based on the county's approved budget, is presented to you tonight for final approval. Now, in the meantime, the General Assembly adopted its final changes to the FY23 budget on June the 1st, and some of the highlights in that I have included tonight. Is a 5% compensation supplement for the SOQ-funded instructional and support positions to be effective August 1st, 2022, and another 5% effective July 1st, 2023. They also included state funding for one reading specialist per 550 students in grades kindergarten through 3. This accounts for approximately 1.29 FTE positions for Southampton County Schools. State funding was included for a full-time principal in all elementary schools. The current standard is 0.5 FTEs for schools with enrollments below 300 students. They also approved the school construction grants program that was established in the governor's budget, but they had a reduction in the distribution of $254,717. So that total for the school construction grants was reduced to $1,677,548, but that amount was retained in the General Assembly's budget. They also included funding for a $1,000 bonus payment in FY23 for each SOQ-funded instructional and support position. This was in the amount of $250,942. These funds are provided using federal ARP pandemic relief funds and will be paid by December 1st, 2022. School divisions are encouraged to use additional available funds to provide pandemic bonuses to all other eligible instructional and support positions. The overall difference between the governor's budget and the General Assembly's adopted budget was a decrease of $33,896 for the operating budget, and another decrease of $197,997 for our other state funds, which include the Early Reading Intervention Program, $115,669, and the Virginia Preschool Initiative, for $82,328. So the budget you're approving tonight, of course, is based on the information that we had available to us when the Board of Supervisors approved the budget on May 24th. So any adjustments that were approved by the state will be corrected through appropriation adjustments at the county.
Any questions for Ms. Carr? Do we have a motion then to approve?
we accept the budget.
Just one minute.
I'm sorry, Mr. Worsham.
Ms. Carr, what did you say the cut was total?
The total reduction from what we requested was $1,548,548. So,
And half.
yes, sir. So we had to cut that from our request in order to balance the budget that the county recommended.
So we were appropriating all but $1.5 million over the question, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Unbelievable. Okay.
Any other questions? So my understanding then is that we reduced the budget and to align with the amount appropriated by the Board of Supervisors, and we reduced the budget to align with the amount appropriated by the state, correct?
Well, our budget tonight is just based on the county's adopted budget on May 24th. We will later approve adjustments for the state's budget.
The state hadn't approved theirs yet, have
They have, and it's gone to the governor, and but more than likely, it was approved by the General Assembly, but it was after the school board had approved and adopted its budget. And I spoke with Lynette Lowe, and she said that any differences that we would adjust later through appropriation adjustments.
Would there be monies coming then to make up for this $1.5 million?
No, sir.
Any other questions you have? You have the FY23 operating budget that was distributed tonight, and that's what we're voting on. We're voting on approving this document that was distributed tonight that Ms. Carr just talked about. So we have a motion by Ms. Bradley, a second by Mr. Smith to approve the FY 2023 Southampton County School Board operating budget. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the renewal for the insurance carrier. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Melvin has been working with our insurance consultant, Mr. Sam Rosenthal, on reviewing proposals for insurance for our school division. And Mr. Melvin will come forward and talk with you a little bit about our insurance proposal. Mr. Melvin.
Good evening, Dr. Goodwin, Board. In front of you, you do have a packet for our insurance renewal for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. All of our coverages remain intact and the same throughout the packet. We do have like I said, our coverages will remain the same.
Okay. It looks like our annual contribution is $237,311, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So any questions for Mr. Melvin? You can see the coverage that's provided, and you can see the premium. So do we have a motion then to approve? We have a motion by Ms. Reynolds. A second by Mr. Scott. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next item is the gasoline, diesel, and heating oil contract. Mr. Melvin, you want to continue?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. We have worked with Parker Oil now for 3 years. This is our 3rd year with them. And they have been a fantastic partner with us. And they have sent out, I had discussions with Mr. Lackey, and he's kind of the manager with Parker for our account. And to ease our concerns for the coming year, they have promised us or written us a letter that they will maintain our margins that we pay above their rack rate for the next year. So I am recommending to the board that we continue with our partnership and our contract with Parker Oil to provide gasoline, diesel fuel, and heating oil for the division for the 22-23 school year.
And what are those margins?
In the letter, the gasoline, we pay 0.09 cents above the rack rate. Diesel fuel, we are at 0.085 above their rack rate, and the other oils are 0.15 above their rack rate.
We did increase our line item for the fuels and everything when we submitted our budget, is that correct?
Yes, you did.
That what cut them?
Any questions for Mr. Melvin? So do we have a motion to approve? A motion by Mr. Smith. A second by Ms. Bradley. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. I suppose Mr. Melvin is going to continue.
Yes, ma'am.
Vehicle surplus items, Mr. Melvin.
Yes, ma'am. Board, you do have a list of vehicles there that their repairs or damages have exceeded their cost of us repairing them. So I'm asking to surplus those vehicles. We would sell them at public auction. However, there are 2 items on here that, in agreements with the DEQ, or Department of Environmental Quality's diesel or electric school bus program, we must scrap 2 buses. It's bus 013 and bus 045. They must be scrapped. We cannot sell them. They have to be completely taken off the road, so they would go from our yard to the scrap yard directly. But the rest of them would be put to sale at public auction in the near future.
Have that spring 2022 transportation proposed surplus list in your board information. So any discussion? Any questions for Mr. Melvin? So do we have a motion to approve? I have a motion by Ms. Reynolds, a second by Mr. Smith, to approve the surplus vehicle list presented by Mr. Melvin. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the Title I.
I think it's commendable, the buses that are on here, the bus mechanics at the garage that kept them running. We have some 1991, 1992, there's some buses on here from the early 90s. So it is worth mentioning that we've had some very good mechanics throughout the years.
Yeah, 1991, 1992. Yeah. Thank you. And cars from 1992. Thank you, Ms. Bond. So the next item on the agenda is the Title I, Part A, Title II, Part A, Title III statewide, and Title IV, Part A application. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Every year, our division level personnel make a report to the school board regarding the use and the amount of federal funds. Tonight, Mrs. Lorraine Green and Ms. Kelly Gillette will give a report on not only the title funds, but the use of our ESSER funds as well.
Good evening, Dr. Goodwin, all present. It's good to be here this Monday evening. We're going to discuss the grants and applications, and I will let Lorraine go for it.
I do want to note that this is a tentative proposed budget, and we are hoping that all of it will work out as budgeted. For Title I, Part A, federal programs, we have been allocated $601,424.79. This funding will fund 1.2 reading specialists from Maharon Elementary School. 0.8, the other part of the second reading specialist, will be funded by transferability from Title IV, Part A. This is the third year in a row that we have funded it this way. One reading specialist each for Capron, Nottoway, and Riverdale. One pre-K teacher, hoping to add another pre-K class to Riverdale Elementary School because of the enrollment that we have and the particular students, parents, families that have applied for this program are children and families that are low income. So we really want to try to make sure that we get all of these children into our schools. A pre-K parapro for Capron, one pre-K parapro for Nottoway, 0.8 Title I coordinator, 0.2 funded by local, 0.5 Title I secretary, half funded by local, and me, 0.5 Title I federal programs VPI specialist, community liaison, and funded by carryover. The transferability, which is Title IV, Part A, federal programs, this is the other 0.8 for the reading specialist for Maharon. We have been allocated Title II funds, $97,820.22. This is for one class size reduction teacher for Riverdale and one class size reduction teacher for Maharon. These two were chosen on the following criteria. The largest population with the highest number of students in line with the subgroups poverty and minority. The fringes are going to be paid by local. Title IIIA, federal programs. We have to go into the statewide consortium because of the low amount of funding that we receive for Title IIIA. This is for language instruction for English language learners, $2,329.14. This funds materials for our English language learners. Do y'all want me to stop and explain anything or just keep going? Okay. The state VPI grant, was saddened today to have to reduce the state funds by $82,000, so we might have to move some funds around to get all of this, these personnel that I had projected we would be able to fund with this. One VPI pre-K teacher Maharon, one Capron, one Nottoway, 3 VPI pre-K teachers at Riverdale, and 5 VPI pre-K parapros. And again, we're trying, Kelly and I and Joy are trying very hard to make sure that we have space available for all of our children from the low-income families in Southampton County. The EIRI, Early Intervention Reading Initiative funding, we're getting $181,390 from state funds, $76,449 local match, and $106,061 carryover. This is a The first position here, one early childhood education specialist, is kind of replacing what Betty Mann used to do. And this person would be countywide and housed at the school board office, but serve all 4 elementary schools. One reading specialist for Nottoway and Capron, split between the 2, and one reading specialist, Riverdale K through 2 also. And this is, again, adding reading specialists because of the number of students that we have that are falling below benchmark on the PAL scores, who are suffering from learning loss due to COVID, the timeout for COVID. We have $122,792 carry over from the recovery of learning loss, and again, adding this reading specialist for Riverdale 3 through 5. ESSER 1, Corona Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, Elementary and Secondary School Relief. All of this funding has been spent. Object Code 1000, we spent $242,000 for personnel retention stipends. Object Code 2000, $18,513 for the FICA, for the stipends. Object Code 3000, we spent $2,734.20 rental for stage and chairs to accommodate the outdoor graduation ceremony, adequate for social distancing and mitigation of COVID-19 for high school graduation last year. Object Code 5000, $11,373 postage for educational materials and packets that we mailed home during COVID. Object Code 6,000, $188,460. Sanitation equipment, chemical sprayers, chemicals, document cameras, iPads, and other educational technology. Resource materials for education, paper, pens, and resources, two-way radios. We made sure that all 6 of the schools in Southampton County had adequate two-way radios to cover all the areas in the schools and out on the bus ports and receiving students in from cars. Also school furniture for social distancing. Object Code 8000, we got $25,016. This provided stage curtains for Capron Elementary, and this was to provide an extra classroom, again for social distancing, and laminate flooring for sanitation. ESSER 2 funds, we received $1,925,536.11. And I'm gonna have to stop here just for a second just to say how excited I am and thrilled that we got this funding for our children and for our buildings here in Southampton County to provide opportunities and resources for our children that otherwise we wouldn't have had. Object Code 1000, we allocated $740,000 for that. Again, stipends for personnel retention, personnel curriculum study, student recovery, learning loss, specialists, we budgeted for 2 of them, and then STEM, technology, technical support specialists, students, families, and teachers. Object Code 2000, FICA, VRS, all of the fringes for the Object Code 1000, $198,468. Object Code 3000, $284,536. We budgeted for a contractor for air quality checks at all the schools, evaluation and replacement of classroom controls, and that has to do with HVAC stuff. HVAC cleaning, air purification system, guidance counselor, contracted online assessment tracking software. Object Code 6000, $432,532. Again, sanitation chemicals, resources, sprays, HEPA filters, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, materials and supplies for HVAC, air filtration system, educational technology, cameras, microphones, etc., and connective devices, pop-up tents, and that was for outside events, educational materials, supplies, resources, and athletic equipment. Object Code 8000, $270,000 went towards the lighting for the athletic grounds. Any questions on ESER 2 before I go on. You want to know how much that's already been spent on that?
Good.
Just keep going, okay, good. Okay, ESER 3 funds, $4,327,551. In Object Code 1000, we've got $1,170,000. Employee stipends, extra duties related to COVID, learning loss, $3,000 per employee. Student attendance and engagement specialist, 10 parapros, a COVID nurse, stipends for sign-on of critical shortage teachers between $1,500 and $3,000. And then Object Code 2000 is the fringes for that, $134,275. Object Code 3000, $604,205. Again, contractor HVAC system and repair, contractor window replacement, contract guidance counselors, contract technology device repair, online software, and trainer and staff development. Object Code 4000, $20,000, and this will probably be transferred or amended to another object code and for another purpose, since we're not doing the food distribution anymore. This was originally written for the food distribution and delivering the meals. Object Code 5000, $150,000, telecommunication services, reimbursements to employees for assessment, certifications, classes, textbook necessary for our teachers to become properly licensed and endorsed. Object Code 6000, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to read that. I know, right? I think I can read it. Yeah. $903,071, sanitation chemicals, resources, sprays, HEPA filters, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, flooring laminate to get all of the carpet out of the classrooms and everywhere that we can possibly replace it with floor laminate. Educational technology, technology accessories, technological devices, equipment to broadcast school board meetings, instructional material supplies, trade books, library books, incentives and athletic equipment, all of those, the new uniforms that you've been seeing all of our athletes in and we'll be seeing next year also, were funded by this grant. Furniture, new furnishings where some of the furniture was retaining germs, all new and sanitary. Furnishings for Parent Community Resource Center, instructional materials and resources for the Parent Community Resource Center, incentives for students experiencing learning loss. Object Code 8000, $1,346,000, classroom mobile unit, walkway cover to the mobile units out back here, an elevated building for the football field, bathroom facilities with prior approval. Building for the athletics, we've been discussing that and we think we're going to merge those two together to put the athletic building and the bathrooms in that, so it'll all be out there together. Roof repairs to existing buildings, repair, remodel existing building and windows. ESER 3 set aside fund. Summer school learning, $111,980. We got $100,000 for that. And that is going to pay for reimbursement for classes and praxis test fees for an estimated 30 teachers. And then Object Code 600, reimbursement for purchase of required textbooks, materials, resources, and praxis testing. BDOE grant for praxis assistance, $5,861, again to provide the materials and resources for teacher licensure and whatever they need to become properly licensed and endorsed. BD are dual credit classes with what the workforce in our area needs, what our workforce needs are. This is the last one that we just wrote, school, and I wrote it, this was Joyce Tomlin initiated this one, the school health nurse. School-based health workforce grant application. This is $66,503. Retention bonuses, stipends, FICA for 8 nurses for 2 years. AEDs for all 6 schools, including and the bus garage and school board, licensure renewal for 7 LPNs, furnishings for nurses stations, and pediatric face masks. I did leave one grant off. It was for the school security officer that's housed at Riverdale, and we got $24,442 for that, and that's it.
I think that Lorraine, when she got going with the ESSER money, the last 5 or 6 were actual grants that we applied for, besides the ESSER money that we're receiving. So 3 of those grants were for teacher retention, for having highly qualified teachers move on to receive higher degrees, and also R&D teachers that we have that are provisionally licensed to take the praxis test. If we have any paraprofessionals that are looking to be teachers, this will put them through and get them to taking their classes, their books, their materials, their testing, and get them in our classrooms as teachers. We have 2 currently right now that are in that position. So several grants. And I commend Lorraine on all of her numbers and putting it all together as well.
Any questions?
Can I ask one thing?
Yes.
Very good report. Any of that money that we have left, can that be reallocated in some way?
There are very strict guidelines as to what we can use the money for. We have it's like 10 pages of what you can and cannot do, but there are, this funding can be amended as long as it is within the boundaries that are outlined in the instructions for each of these grants.
So as Lorraine was saying, and a couple of things that she went through with the title, she is within the ground. She was able to move some of that money from place to place because it still deals with the same subject. But there are certain monies that we have that we can't put in other places just because we want it there. We have to use those guidelines that they have for us.
And that's those 10 pages you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
But with Dr. Shannon and you all, if there's something that you all want changed or amended, just let us know. And if it's within the boundaries of the grant, we will be glad to work it out.
So
Actually,
this is
what
earmark
Shannon
money.
decides.
This is earmark money that we can only, that we pretty well have some strict rules about how we can move it away, correct?
Yes, sir.
So now it seems that the only thing that we need to approve as a board is the Title IV, Part A.
Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV-A.
Okay. Because you talked about some of the grants that I think you submitted, but you don't need.
That, yes, ma'am, that is correct. I just want, Dr. Shannon and all of us just wanted to share that information with you, all of you also. You know how excited we are that we have that funding available for our children.
Okay. So we need a motion then to approve the Title I, Part A, Title II, Part A, Title III, statewide, Title IV, Part A. So I think those are the applications that we have to approve and send to the appropriate place.
Yeah, they have to be submitted by July 1st.
Right. So do we have such a motion to, there's something in your packet that says Virginia Department of Education Office of ESEA Programs. That's what we have to approve. So do we have such a motion? We have a motion by Ms. Reynolds, a second by Mr. Scott. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the swim proposal. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. I am extremely excited about this proposal. Ms. Jiggets Dr. Blunt and I have been working for months on trying to start a swim club. And so Ms. Jiggets is the brains behind this, and she is actually passing out information to you all right now, and she's going to make the presentation to the board. But thank you so much, Ms. Jiggets, for thinking outside of the box for our children. Thank you.
Good afternoon. All right, my name is Ms. Jiggets, Amy Jiggets. I am the bookkeeper at Riverdale. And I am proposing an athletic swim club / team for 7th through 12th grade. The Franklin YMCA has approved the use of their indoor pool and facility. There will be tryouts with in-house competition and hopefully growing into an out-of-district competitions with the VHSL. The one thing about the swim team is I'm not going to teach people how to swim. They have to know how to swim. So they're going to swim like a swim team. It's not going to be really a club. They're going to be prepared as if they're going to go out and swim against people at Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Norfolk. They all have pretty hardcore swim teams with their high schools. I know we're not prepared here yet, but we can get there. Students will arrive at the YMCA by 3 p.m., ready to swim by 3:30. So from 3 to 3:30, if they have any studies they need to get done or they need a light snack, they can do that. In the pool at 3:30 and out of the pool by 5 p.m. Students can dress, shower, and leave the facility at 5:30. Depending on the interest level, we might have to split the number of students in the pool versus dry land exercise with a rotation so everyone swims. Looking to run this sport from November 1st through February 28th, Monday through Thursday with Fridays off. Again, the YMCA has partnered with the food bank as well, and as long as they're partnering with the food bank, we'll be able to give our students a snack bag. They also have a dinner bag to go. The sport could also turn into a lot of work for a lot of our seniors as lifeguards. I know my son, that was his first job, and holding that job has helped him get other jobs because of his responsibility level. So the YMCA, in talking with the executive director of the YMCA in Norfolk for the Hampton Roads region, we finally worked our way down here to Franklin, and they're willing to lease us out 2 lanes at $20 an hour. That could get 5 swimmers in each lane, along with our dry exercise, and they can go back and forth. The only thing that they're asking is that they would need a signed rental agreement in which they require proof of insurance with the YMCA of Southampton Roads as an additional insured party for this school and the middle school.
Let me stop you there. So
Go
my
ahead.
understanding, Dr. Shannon, is we're adding a Virginia High School League sport, and that sport is swimming. Is that what we're doing?
So I think initially, we're calling it a club because it hasn't been developed yet. And then once we seek out the interest and, we get it developed, then we believe that it can turn into a sport. But right now, we are trying to, just get permission to move forward with approaching kids as far as interest and just seeing what we can do to try to get it off the ground. And maybe after the first year of us operating as a club, then perhaps we can approach the Virginia High School League and try to have it added as an additional sport for a team.
Correct, because we don't have any other sports in swim in this district. So it would be an out-of-district sport. So it would be a traveling sport that would probably happen on Saturdays. Most of your swim teams meet on Saturdays. So
Right.
it would be something that would have to be built up because our swimmers aren't ready for what's out there.
Right. I'm just trying to understand what it is we're approving tonight. So what we're approving tonight is the creation of a swim club. And that swim club then would adhere to the these guidelines, and the cost will be about $3,080 to establish a swim club for the 22-23 school year.
That's correct.
So any discussion? Mr. Worsham?
The catastrophic insurance that we cover, that we carry with VHSL, this would come under that even though it's a travel type of?
I'm not sure. We'll have to approach them with that. You know, we haven't looked at all avenues because we don't want to go too far without the board's blessing. You know, so we're coming to you all tonight trying to just seek approval so that we can try to develop the club, and then, of course, we'll get all of that information.
I would think that it would fall under the same category as golf. We have our golfers going and practicing.
Yeah, but that's a VHSL activity or sport.
Correct. What I'm saying, we have
But
them
I've heard
on
this
site.
more or less it's going to be a travel type of thing with a club.
Not travel yet. Once we get into BHSL, then we would travel
As a club.
No.
as a team.
As a team then.
Yes.
But before that, you're not.
We're starting a club for the interest level to see if we can get it off the ground.
So what I think, Mr. Worsham, the confusing thing is that it should say, we're proposing a swim club. So
It says that in the
This is
top.
a club, it's not a team, it's a club. But in order to get into this club, there will be tryouts to get into the club. But it's not a Virginia High School League sport. It is just an after-school club that's going to meet at the Y. And so this is the club that's going to meet at the Y during these dates and times. So it's not a team. It's a club.
Yeah, when you use that definition, you would not be covered by the catastrophic insurance.
Correct. So we got to call it a club. I think if we're not going to be in the Virginia High School League with the team, we have to call it a club. So it's like, so a new athletic swim club for students in grades 7 through 12. And this club is going to meet at the YMCA. And I think, you know, if you change all the word sport to club and what we have here, so this club is going to run, you know, meet from November the 1st to February the 28th, but it's a club. And that, so that's about all we need to be concerned about tonight, is approving approximately $3,000 to host a swim club for students in grades 7 through 12. And that's just the cost of having the club. And I'm pretty sure there'll be an additional cost because I'm sure the club sponsor is going to want compensation. And that cost is not reflected here. But this is just the cost that we would owe the Franklin Hvac, which would be $3,000. And then I guess students would have to purchase their own materials. Am I understanding that correctly, Dr. Shannon?
So I'll say initially yes, but a better answer is that we want to work through this. Once you all give us permission to form this club and we seek out interest, then we can tell, you know, kind of who has what and where we need to go next. Yes. That's right.
Well, see, the board generally doesn't approve clubs. You know, so if you have a Bible club or you have a reading club, we don't generally approve clubs.
But
Yeah,
I
but
think
but swimming is different though.
Right, and I think we're in a predicament here that if we want to add a swim team, the only way that they'll know whether or not there's enough people that want to participate is they're trying to do it in a staged fashion. I think they're trying to figure out if there's interest, they're trying to garner interest. see if we have enough swimmers that are competent and capable enough to form a team. Because if they're gonna need to go and compete with kids, we need to make sure that we've got enough strong swimmers to do that.
Right, but for 22-23, we're saying it's not gonna be a team,
Right,
it's
it's
gonna be a
not.
club.
We're gonna start as a club, just like right now, for all the other athletics in the county, we have, you know, Southampton Sussex has a baseball league that feeds kids. We have feeder programs, we
Right.
have JJBs, we have different things that feed into it. We're starting swimming from scratch, so we have to start somewhere, and I think that's the concept behind this, is we want to start this year as a club to garner the interest. I think if we can give kids an opportunity at another sport, this may be a sport that somebody shines in that wouldn't be able to play another sport. There may be a kid built for swimming that's not built for football or built for baseball. If we can give them an opportunity to do that, they may go on and get a scholarship as a swimmer somewhere. There aren't that many of them competing, so it may be an opportunity for them.
I would say I am a product of that. I grew up on swim, and go ahead.
I think we're all agreeing that it's a good idea. So everybody's saying it's a good idea, we want to do it. I guess the thing we're trying to decide is whether or not the board needs to vote approval of this, or if just Dr. Shannon can decide we're going to pursue student interest in a swim club.
I would be more comfortable if the board voted.
Okay, so then what we're voting on then is establishing a swim club for students in grades 7 through 12 for the 22-23 school year, understanding that it is not a team, it's a swim club for 22-23, and that we will agree to pay the cost to the Y to use that facility. So that's what we need a motion on, to establish a swim club.
I'll make a motion to establish.
So we have a motion by Mr. Scott,
Second.
and a second by Ms. Bunn, to approve establishing a swim club for students in grades 7 through 12, and that we will pay the cost to use the YMCA facility, and that cost is roughly $3,000.
Dr. Newton, I would like to say that I would like to amend the motion to say that we're approving the establishing of the swim club as long as it's covered under our insurance, because that is one piece that she's going to check
Yes.
into.
Okay, as long as it's covered under insurance. Will you accept that amendment, Mr. Scott?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so everybody understand what we're voting on? Establishing a swim club as long as it's covered under our liability insurance. Okay, yes, Mr. Welch?
I'm for this, this is a great idea.
Thank you.
The concern that I've got, if we enter into this as a club, would we be competing against like Princess Anne, Ocean Lakes that do have swim teams?
For next year, we're not competing, Mr. Welch.
Eventually.
Initially, for 22.
Eventually.
For 1 year, you're not going to compete against those.
Right, for 22-23.
No, but we will prepare to compete.
Right.
We're not going to just tread water. We're definitely going to prepare to compete.
So for 22-23, there will not be any Virginia High School League competition. So it's just.
We'll train for a year.
Right.
And you need a year to train. Because if you look at the bottom, in December, you're only swimming 9 days. That's not much.
And my reason for asking that question, I know of 2 high schools that compete with those other schools, Virginia Beach and Norfolk, against clubs.
Oh, do they? That's something to look into.
That is my understanding.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure that if we do this, that we have, as you said, the proper insurance coverage for these youngsters who participate.
Okay.
Right, and for tonight, we're approving a club, a swim club, provided that we have adequate insurance coverage. That's the motion for tonight. So, any further discussion on the motion? So all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Then we have approved the establishment of a swim club for students in grades 7 through 12.
Thank you.
item is the authorization of signature and absence of division superintendent. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, each year the board has to authorize someone to sign documents in my absence, and Dr. Tanya Taylor has played that role, and I would like for her to continue serving in that capacity.
Do we have a motion to approve? I have a motion by Ms. Bradley, a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the Children's Center, the Colon Elementary School lease. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, in your packet is a copy of the lease agreement between the Children's Center and Southampton County School Board, and there have been no changes to this lease agreement other than the dates, and we normally lease this building to the Children's Center for $1, so I recommend that we continue with this lease agreement.
You have such a motion?
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Worsham, a second by Mr. Smith to approve the lease. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. So now we're down to information items. The first information item is the ABM Project review. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Melvin and Mr. John Crane with ABM are going to come up and talk with you about the ABM project that occurred approximately 5 years ago. Is Mr. Crane here?
I've been stood up.
Oh, he didn't come?
No, and I stepped out. I'm so sorry. Let me get it. Thank you, Dr. Shannon. I stepped down and I called both Mr. Crane and Mr. Powell as I've been sitting here, kind of like waiting on my prom date to get here. And haven't seen either of the gentlemen tonight. I know Robbie said he was coming from a job in Norfolk and he would be late, but I did not anticipate either of these gentlemen not being here tonight.
So you want to just put it on the agenda for next month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move this ABM project review to our July meeting. So the next informational item is the roof inspection report. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Melvin just indicated that Mr. Robbie Powell was on his way from Norfolk and he hasn't made it yet. So can we put that on the July agenda as well?
Okay.
All right.
So we'll move both the ABM project review and the roof inspection report to our July agenda, if that's agreeable. Okay, everybody agrees? Okay. So we're down to the resolution from the Southampton County Board of Supervisors. You have a copy of that resolution in your board document. We understand that a resolution is a statement, a formal statement of opinion that's adopted by some deliberative body. And the Board of Supervisors in Southampton County has issued a resolution concerning the roofing project. I am as baffled as you are by the Board of Supervisors' unhealthy obsession with school roofs. But we have passed the resolution on to our attorney. And we will wait to see what our attorney says we should do from here. Any additional comments, concerns? So now we're down to the instructional report. I can't let the opportunity pass, though, to talk about that request from the Board of Supervisors. And for our new board member and for board members who might not remember the history, let me just remind you of a couple of things. Several years ago, it seems like forever ago, but several years ago, because of budget cuts, a lot of maintenance was deferred. So then, around about 2015 or 14, the school roofs were in disrepair. So there was a discussion between Board of Supervisors members and the school board members to say, how do we address this problem? You know, we know that this is a major project what can we do to make sure we get the roofing situation under control? The solution, the joint agreement, the solution was that we would get a loan to cover the cost of repairing the roof. The Board of Supervisors agreed that, instead of doing it little by little or piece by piece, they could access a low-interest loan to cover the cost of replacing the roofs, and that's what we did. Like any other major purchase, like building a school building, this roofing cost would be a part of our debt service, which means then that the loan payment would be a part of the school board budget until the roofing loan was repaid. So then that means then that when we get the school board budget, the cost for this loan payment is a part of our budget, it's taken out of our budget. So I think part of the misinformation is that having members of the community think that the Board of Supervisors reached into its coffers and somehow gave the school board $5.9 million. That is not what happened. This is a loan that the school board is paying back. Now, probably where I call it an unhealthy obsession is that last year, the Board of Supervisors had some information that there were problems with the roof. So of course, we responded saying that we cannot come to your meeting, but please know that one goal of Southampton County School Board is to provide facilities and programs that facilitate learning, because it's in our best interest to provide facilities that meet the needs of our students. Well, the disrespect was that that board would not accept our answer. So what they're saying to us is, prove to me you're telling the truth. And that is not the way equals talk to each other. So I think what happened was that when the Board of Supervisors invited us to come stand before the Inquisition and answer questions, and we declined, they took that as an affront. But what we were trying to tell them is that we hear what you're saying. We're concerned about the roofs. We've hired a roofing inspector. We have monthly inspections. We have a roofing person. We've adhered to all the guidelines concerning roofing. But they keep coming back saying, well, let us come in and prove to me that you're telling the truth. And I think that's disrespectful. That reminds me of maybe back in the mid-20th century, in the 1960s, when social workers and landlords would go to rent subsidized housing and say, show us who live here, prove to us who's living in this building. Or it harkens back to tenant farming when you're saying, tell me, who's living here. Prove to me that you're telling the truth. And I think that that's disrespectful. I think that the Board of Supervisors should understand that we are co-equal boards, that their role is to appropriate the funding, and they have done that. Our role is to make sure that we spend that funding in a way that benefits our students, and we are doing that. But to keep telling us, prove to me you're telling the truth, I find disrespectful, and I find it very upsetting to be questioned every month about a leaking roof. When we have said over and over again, we are addressing it, we are aware of it, we know what's going on. If people are coming to you about a roofing issue, tell them to come to the school board meeting. Don't come to the Board of Supervisors, because once you appropriate the money, then trust us to spend it wisely. And I'll shut up, but that issue that we can't seem to get over that hurdle. And it's hurt our relationship because we can't seem to let it go. We can't seem to say, we trust you to spend the money. To say that, well, we came up there to see if the roof was really leaking. You gotta come look to see that it's leaking? What does that say to us? Who does that question? That you gotta come see it yourself? No, I think it's the height of disrespect, and you do not treat equals that way. So no, our board will not go stand before the Board of Supervisors and explain our actions. We will not do that. We try to explain to them We try to use the money in a fashion that we know is right. Now, the Board of Supervisors has a recourse, because if it comes up and you need roofs 50 years from now, they can say, well, we're not taking out another loan. But for this loan, at this time, the school board is repaying it. We're making the necessary repairs. We have the people in place. We have a vested interest in having a building that's conducive to learning. And we're doing all that we can to make sure that students in Southampton County receive the education they deserve. But I'll shut up and we'll move on. And I didn't intend to say all that. And that's thank you. So, where are we on the agenda? We are down to, and like I said, we have turned that resolution over to our attorney. So we're not going to address it, we're not going to answer it. We're going to just turn it over to the attorney, and we will see what the attorney has to say, what our attorney has to say about it. So now we're down to the instructional report. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Kelly Gillette, would you please come forward and provide the instructional report?
Dr. Goodwin, I have great news.
Thank you, and I'll calm down.
Again, hello everyone. I wanted to update you this evening on pacing guides. I know several of you were able to be with us for Teacher of the Year, but I did want to share those with everyone. And also, of course, our dates to remember, because this is the last week of school. So, as you can see in your packets, I'm not going to go through every one of these. You will see that in some classes, mostly elementary K through 2, and some of our electives, there may be 1 or 2 objectives left. And that goes with the reading series and the math. Usually, they go week by week, so they're finishing up this week. And if you see one for science or social studies, it's usually they've already done that unit. They switch from science to history maybe every couple of weeks, so they finish one and they're finishing out the other. So you can see Capron just about finished. Maharan as well, you'll see some of the elementary areas. Just a couple on 3 through 5. We have Nottoway, and they've completed everything. Riverdale, just a couple with the K through 2 again. And then all of the 3 through 5 are complete. We move on to the middle school. We only have 1 objective left in U.S. History 1. And then, as you'll see, some of our electives like PE and Spanish and art, we just have 1 left, a couple in Spanish. And then our high school, they're moving and grooving. They've got all their basic guides complete, with the exception of some of our electives, such as Biology 2, which is not tested, in Spanish, graphic design, photography, and driver's ed. And again, at the end, they don't necessarily go by standards, they go by competencies, so they usually go within a range. So we just have 1 left in nutrition and wellness. So our staff has been moving and grooving. And I did have the pleasure of announcing the Teacher of the Years when they came up to have their awards, not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, so I get to do that again. I'm so proud to have Capron Elementary, Miss Tiffany McGee, our 2nd grade teacher. As you can see, she says, I believe my #1 role as an educator is to love my students. I hope that each day, in some way, I will show all of my kids that I love them. Miss Julie Darden is our librarian at Maharan. She says, when I think about the culture of the school, I think about the feel and the environment created within it. Riverdale Elementary was Miss Ashley Dickens, and Miss Rayleigh and Miss Watford were saying how I think Miss Watford taught her, and she's now teaching with us. She says, I believe that all students deserve a teacher who has a passion for education and who inspires, encourages, and challenges their students daily. Alger Nichols, our only male, He says that when we empower students to make decisions on their own, they feel more empowered to take control of their educational achievement. And finally, at the high school, we have Miss Beth Nace. She's a special education teacher, and she says, I work with all students to help them find relatable ideas within the classroom that can be used in real-world situations. And then from Nottoway Elementary, our Southampton County Teacher of the Year is Miss Tiffany Madison. She's also a special ed teacher, and she tells us, I've always had a passion for making sure all students are included and treated fairly. And here's one of the pictures. I have to tell Miss Yvette Nichols and Melissa Edwards in the high school were gracious enough, and the decorations, the tables, the cafeteria staff with the food. It was an absolutely amazing banquet. We had a lot of fun. Our dates to remember, and as you can see right now, we have our Southampton High School graduation. It will be this Saturday at 10 o'clock. I know some of my fellow people in here have graduates as well, and I must say, I'm going to drop real second and say, as a parent, my child will be graduating this year, and I'm so proud of Southampton High School in this division. All three of my children have graduated from Southampton High School, and this will be my last. And she also received her associate's degree from Southampton High School in Paul D. Camp. And I commend our school system for giving our students that opportunity to do that. And my child now is ready to move on. I'm not ready, but she's ready to move on. So, but as an educator and as an employee of Southampton County Schools, I am proud of my school board and my superintendent and my fellow employees and teachers and staff. Our days to remember for 5th grade celebration, you'll see these listed. On the 16th, we have Capron and Maharon at 9:30. On the 17th at 9:15 for Nottoway. And then Riverdale, they're going to be 11 o'clock on June 14th. Theirs is at the fairgrounds. They're going to have their kindergarten before that at 9:30 at the same place. Capron is going to be on the 14th at 9:30. And then at 9:30 on the 15th for Maharon, and then Nottoway is going to follow it up on the 16th at 9:15 a.m. Any questions this evening?
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is the maintenance and transportation report. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Melvin will come forward with that report. Mr. Melvin?
Got a chair closer. All right, and more, go right through here. All right, so going through the maintenance one, and I do apologize for missing this report last month. I am going through doctoral program at Virginia Tech. It was our last class of the semester, and so all of my meetings up there met up with board meetings, and I was like, I gotta get to one of these things. So I went to one class, and they met for like 20 minutes, and it killed me. So, but it was a good close out there, so I do apologize again. So I kind of condensed with our May and June stuff here. So some of the stuff is April for the maintenance pieces. At the high school here, we did have some insects in the back in the auxiliary gym that we got taken care of with Orca. HVAC components at the middle school and Nottoway were repaired over the spring break. We had actuators and other components that were in the classrooms that were replaced during the spring break. At Maharon, we had one hallway that was just not responding correctly. They found out to have the dampers. Dampers are what control the airflow in the room, and so some of the dampers and actuators were not responding in there, so we replaced those. And at Riverdale, we had a valve leak in one of the classrooms that just needed to be tightened, and we replaced the tile in there as well. In the springtime, you know, the weather changes, and we do have issues that pop up because now we're going into cooling season, so there are new challenges than what we had in the wintertime. We're prepared for that. We respond as quickly as possible. Many of the issues are responded to and taken care of same day. I'll get to that on the next slide of how we do that. But also the storms in the springtime have knocked power out a few times, and we're prepared for it. We're ready for it. Richard, Roger, Milton, and I, we're ready if we got to get to a school to reset. A chiller, a breaker, anything, work with Mr. Hatch to make sure that everything in the division is working properly if we do have those power outages. All right, spring break was very, very busy. The track was repainted out here at the high school. Each one of our school parking lots and the school board parking lot was repainted. The trailers have been placed at Capron, the middle school, and here at the high school. The next step is the electricity. Work orders are put in with both Dominion and also we're working with Turner Electric. Supply chain issues have been an issue with these guys because each one of these units gets its own big breaker box, and getting those big components in has been an issue this spring. At the middle school, we did have a blower motor on the second floor and a compressor on the first floor that was being replaced. Kindergarten sidewalk at Capron. I know Dr. Francis, if she's still here, but I've got holes in the back of my head for staring at me. But we had an issue with water that we kept trying to do something about at the bottom of the ramp in the trailer. Finally said it's enough. We put in a cement sidewalk there. The athletic lighting project is rolling. They were on site again today. We've had multiple meetings with them to finalize the design things. We put in some changes to make the project as a whole even better. And as we've talked through it, we found things we've adjusted to make our the construction more efficient, and it's been really great. The products have been, the lightings have been ordered through Musco, and we do have a sit down with Musco and High Ground on Wednesday to finalize that piece with them. This was more so last month that the grounds are looking great. The athletic fields are looking fantastic. Working with Justin and his crew, and they have done a great job. And I know it's going to continue into the fall with the football field. We're already putting fertilizer and seed planting, getting ready for fall sports as well. Operations. Out back here, we talked a few months ago about the pump at the house out here for our septic. That finally arrived, and they have been working on that installation every day since last Wednesday. They have been rolling on that. We are working with Duluth, Tidewater Pro Air, and Abm to conduct that Hvac audit for the division. Have had very good talks with them, and was hoping tonight would have been an opportunity for Mr. Crane to speak to it, but in July I'm sure they will have some information for us. Now, how we can address any of these issues that pop up every day, we work with a multitude of companies. So from Duluth, Air Comfort Systems of Virginia, AirServe, Air Mechanics, all work within our schools to help us address each one of our schools when they have an issue. Some of them have expertise in one school more than others. Air Mechanics is, Capron is their place to be. AirServe with Maharan, putting in the chiller there, and Duluth, and Nottoway, Riverdale, and here at the middle school, and Air Comfort Systems, both middle school and high school. So those guys have been really great to work with in taking care of our schools. As we spoke earlier, Versa, we are in the process of finishing that renewal piece that is taken care of, so they will continue to cover us in the division. All right, transportation has been a rough couple months for our drivers. Mr. Griffin is doing his best on getting everyone to and from school safely and as on time as possible. One driver that we lost has had a significant impact on Nottoway. And again, this was again in April. We have since made adjustments, rotated a driver, and it is working much, much more efficiently now. Mr. Griffin, Mr. Mason, and the coaches all worked together to ensure our student athletes were where they needed to be and on time. And I put this on there for a reason because I think we sat out here and waited on other teams to show up because they didn't have rides. Their transportation department said, you gotta wait. But between, like I said, Mr. Griffin, Mr. Mason, and our coaches, we got our kids where they needed to be and got them on time. Using those activity buses has been a godsend. Being able to, every single one of our programs has utilized them. Baseball, softball, all the way to football going to a camp on a Saturday. They have all utilized those buses. Interlock Tablets, I skipped over one there. All right, Interlock Tablets. Nottoway has been our beta testing group. We have 2 full buses that have been using them. The drivers are able to do the punch in, punch out, and we are able to use the swipe card process so that the parents can know when their kid is on and off the bus, and allows the driver to know who is on the bus and any alterations to the route that become part of it. If somebody doesn't get on, they don't have to go down the road, it alerts them to that. COVID-19 update, weekly pool testing is still available for all students and staff. With summer school coming up, Aegis and the health department have offered to continue testing throughout the summer. Now, this is not just for kids and teachers that are working or going through summer school. This is for any student or staff member within the division that wants to continue to be tested on a weekly basis. And we have been working with the Western Tidewaters to schedule a vaccination clinic, and we'll continue to coordinate with them in our efforts to offer this service to our community. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Melvin? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry,
Ma'am.
one quick question. The middle school, the art area, you said that had been replaced?
That is being replaced, yes, ma'am.
It's being replaced?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because
Yep.
I knew there was an
Yep.
issue there. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So we're down to the high school graduation is going to be Saturday, June the 18th at 10 a.m. If you are available, please attend. So we're down to student enrollment and student teacher attendance report. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, we had 2,419 students exclusive of preschool students, and inclusive of our preschool students and special education preschool, we have 2,557 students. The student attendance winner for this month is Nottoway Elementary School with 94.70%. I will say that Nottoway has been the winner for March, April, May, and June with student attendance. Yes. And looking at our teacher attendance award winner, it is Meharron Elementary School with 93.43%. And Meharron has been the teacher attendance winner for 3 of the 4 months since March, April, May, and June. The only month that they did not have it was April, and it went to the high school. So congratulations to Meharron staff.
Thank you. We're down to matters of the board. I did not attend the Appomattox Regional Government School meeting on Thursday of last week, so I have no report. So now we're down to the report from the Facilities Committee. And you know, that committee is chaired by Ms. Bradley. So Ms. Bradley.
Thank you. Mr. Scott and Mr. Smith served on this committee with me. I have been through every school, most every classroom, gyms, back alleyways, and what else is there. But one thing that I have not and I will not do is climb on the roof. That just, I have to stop there. I'm not going up there on the top of the building. I will look at whatever needs to be looked at inside, but not climbing on top. The facilities report. Capron Elementary. Capron needs to be replaced. Capron has reached its usefulness. It is still able to be used, but it really needs to be replaced. It needs updating. The HVAC comprehensive plan. We're looking, and like I said, if they had been here tonight, they would have let you know this. But we're looking at replacing all components and units throughout the division. That is a must that we really need to look at, so that we can stop this hot in one classroom, cold in the classroom beside of them, whatever else the HVAC. The HVAC leaks. So everything coming from the ceiling is not coming from the roof. It's coming from the HVAC. Sometimes these pipes get clogged, sometimes they leak. The roofs over at the middle school and Capron, those roofs were put over pipes
that have been there since 1953, 1955. So, that is what we're looking at now, is looking at trying to see about what it will cost, what we need to do about getting that replaced. At the middle and high school, hallways, classrooms, common areas, locker rooms, bathrooms, and offices all need painting. Preliminary numbers at the middle school is between 70 and 85,000. Still working to pull more contractors. Like everybody else, they're having a hard time hiring people to do the work. At the middle and high school also, we're looking at a comprehensive deep clean of the buildings from an outside source. It's been difficult, but it's a project that we're looking into. Again, the lack of manpower has been a huge deterrent. The middle school, the changing out of the carpet in the front office and repairing the walls. We're looking at professionally clean all hallways and bathroom floors, replace library carpet with LVT, which is laminate flooring, and repair all north-facing walls in classrooms and offices. At Riverdale, cleaning, general cleaning of ductworks, vents, gyms, all of it. Some light replacement. We need to replace the carpeting in some of the classrooms, library, computer labs, and a section of the front office with laminate. So that needs to be. In Meharry, we need to replace front office carpeting. It needs to be painted, and multiple outdoor shade structures. At Nottaway, there needs to be lighting throughout the school. It needs power wash, the building, and the sidewalks. Capron is scrape, paint, seal windows, replace the HVAC in the third grade trailer, and scrape, resurface, and paint walls in the auditorium. As I said, all that money, it just needs to be redone. The whole school needs replacing. Southampton High School is replacing the carpet in the Hvac, replace carpeting in the library, in the main front office, and professionally clean all tile, all bathrooms, kitchens, locker rooms, and classrooms. All schools, power wash all sidewalks and all elementary schools. Painting all interior spaces, rekeying the entire division, and that's pulling contractors for this. So in summary, Capron had a leak at the front door with the awning and the roof met. This has been repaired, no other problems. Riverdale has had no roof leaks since the new roof was put on. Meharry, no leaks at all. Nottaway, sprinkler head was leaking in room 103, but that has been repaired. All sprinkler head in the hallway was leaking, but that's being worked on. Nothing with the roofs. Southampton Middle School, no roof leaks. Pipes from the HVAC in the cafeteria, gym, room 1, and art room have been leaking. All fixed, but art room, and as Mr. Melvin stated that just a few minutes ago, that is being worked on. Southampton High School, no roof leaks at all. Hvac had a design flaw that was corrected and fixed. The band hall and the 7th hall has been repaired. I was out here last Wednesday or Thursday and went through every picture that was given to me on the leaks and the problems that were here. Every bit of it has been fixed. There are no problems. All of that has been repaired, and as it was stated earlier, any roofing issue that we have had has been fixed or repaired through Robbie Powell Roofing. He has been out here once a month and inspected these roofs, and our facilities report state, and that is the facilities report. Thank you. And I want to thank the members. I want to thank the members of the Facilities Committee for the great job that you did. It was very time-consuming, and they were very thorough in the work they did. So, Mr. Smith, Mr. Scott, Ms. Bradley, thank you for your hard work. And remember, when we set up this committee, we said that the committee would make a report, and then the committee would work with the superintendent to prioritize the findings and recommendations of the report. So the committee work is not done. They will move to phase 2, and they will work with the superintendent to prioritize the findings that you have and to see which ones we can get done in which order. So thank you very much. So any questions or comments for Ms. Bradley or for the Facilities Committee? Thank you. So pursuant to section 2.2-37A1 and 2 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, the board, upon a motion and a second, will convene in a closed session in the library to consider the following: personnel appointments, resignations, retirements, transfers, searches and compensation, intra-district student transfer request, out-of-district student request, student discipline matters. So we will reconvene in the library, and then we will come back to this area for open session to take any necessary action after the closed session. Oh, yeah. Oh, in closed session, we'll also discuss the superintendent evaluation. So that's we'll also discuss that in closed session. So I'll see board members in the library, and we'll come back to this area after our closed session.